We woke up by the grace of God. We have air in our lungs. Our heart is still beating. The alarm clock might still be winning the argument with the snooze button, but that alone means purpose is still on the menu. God didn't hit the reset button on your life just so you can play small, shrink down, or let anybody else dim the light He placed in you. And that's the energy that I want us to carry through this week. Now, listen, have you guys ever looked back at a situation and thought, that's a red flag, and it was the size of a billboard and it was just flashing neon and it had sirens, right? It was literally doing cartwheels in your face. And you still walked up to it like, hi, I'm here, damaged today. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How to not damage yourself, because half the time the damage is not coming from the outside world. It's us handing over the keys, opening the door wider, like, come in and rearrange everything that God already perfected in you. And today we're not fixing that. We're learning how to listen to the warnings the first time and how to close the door before the chaos walks in.
This is MON, still showing up.
Hosted by Denise.
First MON story, and we're going to get right into it. Someone said, I moved into my new apartment and I met my neighbor in the elevator. She was very sweet and had, a very soft voice, and she had a smile ear to ear. And in my head, I was like, wow, God, new apartment, new friends, a new community. But I was wrong because every night it was something new. I heard her crying, arguing, throwing things, threatening to do crazy stuff over her relationship. And I'm there laying like, you bought me cookies by day and you're a horror story by night. I still say hi, I still smile, and I'm protecting my peace. And in the nighttime, I turn on my sound machine, roll over, and stay in peace. And that's how I'm still showing up with her away from me.
That's why you gotta have a house and not apartments.
I like apartments, but that's why you can't judge a book by its cover, because she looked all nice, which is crazy. But yeah, I would just keep it cordial with her, because if she's like that in the nighttime, God knows what she'll do once you get too comfortable with her. Or like a crazy Karen or something. Anywho, thank you for showing your MON stories. Now the second MON story, someone said, I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your opinion on this. So I'm at the dollar store. There's 5 people in line, 2 self-checkouts open. Nobody's using them. Everybody's standing there. So I naturally go to the self-checkout and start scanning my stuff. And the employee comes over and goes, you need to go back in line. There were people in front of you. So I'm standing there like, in front of me where? Because nobody was using the machine. Then he just screams, whatever, and walked away. Just left me, the machine, and my 125 body wash alone. So I finished scanning my stuff and left, still showing up, still minding my business. But be honest, was I wrong?
No.
Some people are just having a bad day.
That employee had audacity.
Can you imagine somebody just scream at you, whatever? I just think of Napoleon Dynamite. Tina, you fat lard.
I would have been like, are you good, bud?
Well, at least you showed up. And sometimes you have to pick your battles. You didn't pick that one. You just walked away. You didn't let him get to you, and you just walked away gracefully. All right, y'all. Now, these stories might sound small, but they reveal something very deep, okay? And it's that damage doesn't start with the huge catastrophe. It starts with access. And that's where the room theory comes in. Have you ever heard of it, Mercedes, the room theory? Okay, listen closely. So the room theory says that every person in your life is decorating a room inside your heart. And some people walk in and they start rearranging everything. And then they move what God placed in you They touch your confidence, they question your purpose, they make you feel like you have to shrink inside your own space. And the dangerous part is that isn't that they tried, it's that you let them in. Not because you're weak, it's basically because you have a good heart. But listen carefully, okay? Just because somebody walks in your life doesn't mean they deserve access to your heart, okay? Because you are not the guest. You are the owner. This is your room. This is your peace, your heart. You decide what stays and you decide what goes. And you also decide what gets access. Because once you understand you control access, you start to understand what your presence carries. And your presence is not something that's just neutral. Your present is salt. Salt. And salt does two things: salt heals and salt activates the flavor. But salt does something else. Salt exposes contamination. And the reason that people become uncomfortable around you is because your presence will expose their contamination. And it's not because you did anything wrong, right? But it's because you carry that purity inside of you and you carry that purpose and you're walking around with peace. And the contaminated environments around you cannot hold pure hearts for long. And when your presence carries that kind of power, protecting your heart becomes the highest responsibility. Right, Mercedes?
Yep. Protect your peace.
Yep. And above all else, not your job, not your image, not your relationship, your hearts, your corazon. Because your enemy does not care about your money. I mean, some of them might, but your enemy won't care about your followers. They care about what you carry around and who you are and who is your personality. Because if he can damage your heart, he can damage everything else, like your confidence, your peace, and also your purpose that God placed in you. And God protects what has value. Have you ever thought about a baby in the womb, right? It's protected. The tree roots underground, right? Protective. Your glow up while your rent's $2,000 and gas is $5, protected, even when the timeline full of adulting is a scam meme, right? Just because you don't see your progress doesn't mean God isn't protecting it. Protection doesn't always look like progress, right? Sometimes it can look like a delay. And fast things, and I want you to hear this very clearly as you're listening, as you're driving to work, whatever. Fast things are very valuable. Easy things are really lasting. And some of you, God doesn't delay it to punish you. He delays it because your impatience would have settled for a knocked off version. God delays it to protect you because what is truly yours cannot be taken away by anxiety, sure as hell can't be taken away from pressure, and taken by other people's timeline. What's yours will find you. And God hides gold inside rocks, and God hides purpose inside pain, and God hides the strength inside silence. And God hides something inside you that nobody can destroy. Unless you give them permission, don't damage yourself trying to keep people who were never assigned to stay. But again, protection only works when you know who you are. And I've been listening to this Audible book. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked. And so far, one of the biggest lessons that I've gotten from this book is that to not damage yourself, you have to know who you are. Because the fastest way to lose yourself is trying to live according to the expectations that were never meant for you. And the book goes in further explaining that you are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to live in alignment with your purpose. And I felt this when it came with building MON publicly, right? The moment you step into who you are, people will always have opinions, and some people will question you, and some people will doubt you, and some won't see your vision, and that's okay, right? Because their opinion is not your assignment, and your assignment is to create, to show up, to be honest about who you are. And approval is not a requirement for alignment. And there was one set in particular in the book that still stays with me, and it's, I am responsible for my life and they are responsible for their own opinion. And when you accept that, everything changes. You stop explaining yourself to people who already decide not to understand you, and you stop minimizing yourself to make others comfortable, and you start protecting your identity instead of negotiating it. And I want you to know this, and you've heard of the bee and the fly analogy. But basically, when you think about it, bees don't waste breath explaining to flies why honey is more valuable, right? Bees don't give a whole TED talk on why honey slaps. They're just buzzing and stinging if you're dumb, right? They don't shrink their sweetness, right, to make decay uncomfortable. They just keep building. And some people will never understand your piece, not because it isn't real, but because it doesn't match their environment. That's the same thing with flies, right? Don't explain to, flies like shit. You're not responsible for shit. You're not responsible for convincing people of your value. You are responsible for protecting it. You are not the fly police, right? You are the whole hive. And hives don't beg flies for understanding. They protect their queen. And in your life, the queen is your peace. And the last thing that you must understand to try not to damage yourself, as I mentioned, is recognizing those distractions. The first distraction is that you need to realize is that you have to stay in your place. Stay home. You can't argue with everything, but some things exist only to take you out of your house. Sacate de tu casilla, okay? Out of your place of peace, not everything needs your attention, because once it takes you out of your casilla or out of your place, it takes you out of authority, and the enemy doesn't care if you move emotionally or if you move physically. Their whole goal is to try to shaken you and move you through pressure. And the world can be basically falling apart and everything can be happening around you, but when you stay grounded and te queda en tu casita, and you're staying in the place that where you're supposed to rest and where you're supposed to be, that is where you have governance and you remain protected. Not every territory will belong to you. Not every war is meant to be fought everywhere, like the guy from the Dollar Tree, okay? Your fight is from your place of authority. Sometimes you're fighting for something good, but the way you respond weakens your whole authority, okay? And that's a distraction. Two, protect who is with you. You want to stay in position, but also be intentional with who you let in. Not everybody has a vision. Not everybody has your principles, your value. Protect the connection and who you have around you, because when the wrong people sit with you, they can cause confusion and distractions. And some people will not understand your path, and that's okay, right? You can't be everybody's cup of tea. Your environment around you is your structure, your covering. Make sure you protect it. And lastly, not every distraction looks like an enemy, right? Obviously, your distractions are not going to come as an obvious enemy. Sometimes they come through the people that are closest to you. Your enemies, for an example, if the devil is going to attack you, he's not going to attack you with somebody that you don't care about or that don't even, think about. For an example, like you see a stranger out there, if he tries to attack you, you're not going to give a fuck, right? But he's going to try to get at you from somebody you know. And that's when you got to ask God for some discernment, right, Mercedes?
Mhm.
Do you feel you get what I'm trying to say, right? because it's like, oh no, you're gonna be like, no, I trust this person, and then it's like uh discernment. But anyways, that was what I was getting at. Not everyone is sent to destroy you intentionally, right? Some people are simply not aligned with your purpose, and that's why you just got to pray for them, because distraction confuses your direction, and distractions often change the form, right? And that's like a chameleon, right? They're adapting to gain access again. And that's why discernment matters, because before the attack arrive, you will see it. You will see it, you will know it, and God will reveal things early so that you can act early. God gives protection, but you also must use your wisdom. But what God shows you, you must respond to. All right, Mon family. Now to start closing things off. Before the message arrives, you will feel it, not with your eyes, but with discernment, because God will show you through discomfort, through patterns, through things that don't feel aligned, and that is your warning. Not everything that approaches you is meant to enter. So open your eyes, and your job is not to ignore it. Your job is to act on it. And in the Bible, Elijah, he didn't wait until the attack reached the door. He closed the door before it arrived. He protected the space before the damage could enter. And I want you to do the same. If a friend's presence starts to feel off, don't argue. You create distance. And if somebody tries to enter your life with wrong intentions, you don't entertain it. You close the door, not with anger, but with wisdom, because your discernment is your protection. And you can still be kind though, and you can still show love, but that doesn't mean to reopen doors that God showed you to close. Not everybody will understand you, and that's okay. Close the door, prevent the entrance, and guard the entrance too, because protecting your heart is also protecting your purpose. So for this week, remember to one, be your most authentic self and guard what God has put inside you so that it's not damaged or contaminated. You are salt, right? You heal and you give flavor. Until next time, my beautiful Mon family, I'll be here, same time, same place, still showing up. Bye now. Whatever you need. Why is my voice like this? It doesn't sound like me today.
I mean, it's getting raspy.
Gassy.
Not raspy. Raspy. Raspy?
Probably a little raspy. Gets what you corazoncito sabiendo what amor.
Bro.
I just thought of that because it's not clocking, like Justin Bieber said. It's just not clocking to you. It's not a theory, it's an analogy, okay? Girl, I'm always scrolling and then I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. I wonder if people have heard of this before. I actually heard of it in La Reina del Flow. The beach, Harley said it. Yeah?
What happened?
Nothing.
Lola's Delulu.
And
Wait. What is going on? Your computer's doing some force quit applications. Your system ran out of application memory.
did this just happen?
Yeah. Like it just popped up. Okay, I think you're good.
He didn't wait for the attack to reach his door.
It paused. You good? What's wrong? He didn't tell me I weigh 590 pounds. What? Who told you you weigh that much? I stepped on the scale. Baby, what? You weigh 59.9 pounds. Let me go check. Not 599. I don't get paid enough to do this shit. Honest to God.
I think I'm just gonna redo it again with
530. You see how there's a period? It's 62.0. Oh. So it's 62 pounds.
damn.
No, that's not damn. You skinny as hell.
What's 62 times?
You do not want to know mommy weighs.
What's 62 times 2?
124.
Oh, no. I was going to say he's almost half my weight, but I gained a little more. So, not no more.
I'm a little thick.
I'm a little more now.
Can we finish? For what? You don't need to worry about my weight. It's 5,000. Yeah.
He said big back.
Nosy ass.
All right, Armel. It was nice having you at MON. Arrives. You will.
I try to hold it in.
Bless you.
Thanks.